Hi people, I'm Susana Ibanez, and this year, in these very strange circumstances, together with Santiago Cedran, we will be sharing with you Literature 2. The circumstances are absolutely special, but let's try to make the best of them for you to complete the course successfully. First of all, I would like to go over the syllabus with you, which we have already made available via Facebook. So you will notice, well, there is a list of objectives and the like. You may read that on your own. You will see that they are simple. We just want you to understand certain things, to get familiar with some concepts, and to help you start to read literature produced in English-speaking countries. The first unit has to do with very central concepts, like what is meant by literary theory, literary criticism, and literary history. And we will also introduce the problem of periodization in literary history, and we will also start to explore different academic genres and different ways of doing literary research. So in order to read literature alongside these concepts, you're going to read three very old texts which are central to the English tradition. One of them is the epic poem Beowulf, and then you're going to read the general prologue and the Pardoner's Tale, included in Geoffrey Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales. And also, as part of this unit, you will read Hamlet by William Shakespeare. Also, along this reading of older texts, you're going to read Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift or Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. You will have to choose one of the two. In the second unit, we will start to explore what is meant by comparative literature, how it was born, how it developed as a discipline, and why it is interesting to us. We'll also explore the idea of transtextuality, which you may be familiar with already, and what is meant by genre and genre fiction. And we will, in particular, study science fiction and dystopian literatures. In order to work with transtextuality, you're going to read two texts, one written at the beginning of the 20th century and one written at the end of the 20th century, which are Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf and The Hours by Michael Cunningham. Then, in order to work with science fiction and dystopian literatures, you're going to read two novels, 1984 and The Handmaid's Tale. You have to choose one of these two. And two short stories, Asleep in Armageddon by Ray Bradbury and To Be or Not to Be by Kurt Vonnegut. All these texts will be made to converse with one another. And finally, in Unit 3, we will approach the topics of cultural diversity, what is meant by center, periphery, and the post-colonial criticism literature, what is meant by counterculture, by feminist literature, and by literature for children and young adults. We are especially interested in this last concept because it is what will help you teach English with literature. You will be reading the poem or part of the poem Howl by Allen Ginsberg, I Stand Here Ironing, which is a short story by Tilly Olsen, According to Mwangi by Winina, the Kenyan author, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Carol, The Fabulous Wizard Oz by Baum, and The Hobbit by Tolkien. These last three novels, Alice, Oz, and The Hobbit, you pick one. And then you will read in the text, in the syllabus, that each unit or each group of texts is organized around study guides. We have made available to you the first study guide, which is titled Medieval Literature, which includes the reading of Beowulf, the Canterbury Tales, part of it. And in the second study guide, you will be reading Hamlet and Shakespearean, Elizabethan literature. How are these study guides structured? They are all for you to get familiar with the way in which we're going to work, and also for us to schedule things somehow tidily. So first you get a list of objectives, then the reading materials. The reading materials are made available to you via Drive, or they are available online, so you don't need to buy anything. In this first unit, what is important is that you read the corresponding chapter in the Routledge History of Literature in England, Ireland and Wales, the chapter which corresponds to this topic. And then there are some websites which are cited here, one about medieval literature, then another one including terms used by narratology and film theory, because these terms are going to be important for your analysis. Then, optionally, you are asked to read The Invention of Tradition, or the introduction to The Invention of Tradition by Hobsbawm and Ranger. Optionally also, there is a free social science dictionary where you can take concepts from, and an online dictionary of social sciences also for you to access optionally. The activities. You're asked first to read the texts and then to answer the questions. So don't read to answer, because that's not the way in which you learn. First read and then answer these. You have some questions to answer online on Facebook, and then a literary reading which includes the epic Beowulf and two sections in Chaucer's work. The general prologue, where he presents the characters in the pilgrimage, and the Pardoner's Tale, which is maybe one of the most fun texts to read. Both of them are available online, of course, and as we are not going to gloss these texts in class, so we will not be there to explain the texts to you, we send you to a website where you will find the texts in modern English, because both were written in Anglo-Saxon and in Middle English respectively. So they will be written in modern English and explained. So you may read the text and the explanation together. If you're especially interested in literature, you may also read Morte Arthur and the Robin Hood ballads, which you will also find online. This is just for those who are in love with English medieval literature. In the schedule, which we have also made available to you, you will see what you're going to do for each week. But there are certain things that you may do now or do later, depending on time availability. For example, the viewing of videos. You will find in each study guide some suggestions regarding viewing. Of course, you do that as you get some time. And the tasks are not included in the study guide, because first we want you to do the activities, and then we will tell you what the tasks are. But just a word regarding this: all the tasks, the written tasks that you complete, will be part of your term exam. So it's not that you just complete them and send them. Take your time to do it correctly. Write complete texts. Make sure that you respect all academic conventions, and submit something which is quite well-rounded. Of course, you will get a chance to resubmit in case we find something to improve on, but consider that you're working towards a grade for your term exam, which in turn will have an impact on your promoción directa. As this is not a conventional year, we still don't know how promoción directa will work, but make sure that we will do our best to give you all the possibilities to complete your course before November. So rest assured you will get that. Regarding your schedule, which is a Google document, consider that we will make adjustments to this. So this is not written in stone. If you need an extra week, just ask for it, and we will try to make some adjustments. So for this week, what you are asked to do is to read the syllabus and the first study guide to organize yourselves. You will need to create a virtual space to launch the schedule. Well, you know how to work Drive, I suppose. To launch the syllabus, to start to launch the materials that we will share with you, and this will be essential for you to get organized along this semester. We don't know how long this is going to last. What is important here is that you keep safe, but also that you can go on studying. So take this week to get organized, okay? Once you decide how you're going to organize yourselves, you start to read. For April the 14th, we want you to read Beowulf. It's long. And there in the schedule you will find the link to the web page where you will find the translated version and the explanation. And you're asked to complete only 2 questions in the study guide, A and B, in the literary reading section. 2 questions in the literary reading section, and the questions in activities, all of them. Yes, it's a lot, but we are starting later this year, so we'll try to complete everything by the time we get to the end of the year. How are we going to work? Next Tuesday at 2, that is on April the 14th at 2. We will be there in the Facebook group. We will publish the questions in the Facebook group, and you will enter your answers. The first to enter an answer gets the answer. I mean, the rest of you will have to either complete that, or correct that, or comment. But you're not supposed to publish all the answers one below the other. You need to read the answer that was posted before yours, before you were going to, and respond to that. So what we recommend is that you keep all your answers in Word document or a Google document. So when you get all the questions, you start pasting your answers there. Once you answer one question, allow for your students to publish theirs. In this way, all of us will be collaborating. Some of you will be the first to publish, but then the others will complete the answers, comment on the answers, ask about those answers. So we guess that in an hour, more or less, of being there synchronically online, we will be able to cover all your questions. So that's for the 14th. Then for the 21st, you will be asked to read the prologue to the Tales, to the Canterbury Tales, and to answer questions C to F. For April the 28th, you will be answering questions G and Y only, and start to work with concepts of narratology. So make sure you read about narratology, especially structure, to ask questions by this moment, because you will need them to complete the task. I will be publishing this video, and tomorrow at 2 you may ask all the questions that you would like to put. Good luck this year. We apologize in advance for any mistakes we may make. This is not the way we usually work, but we are thankful for your patience. Please keep safe, keep reading, and let's go on learning together.